If you are currently losing trades because of your entries, you have no idea whether you've gotten a good confirmation or not, and you're just totally confused whether you've got a good change of character and whether it's fake or real, then make sure you watch this video all the way up until the end, because I'm going to teach you my preferred way of entering the market in 2024 to get absolutely banger trades. Now, an example of me utilizing this confirmed entry type over here is a signal on GBP/USD, which I did send out to my team, which was a banger trade. And as you can see, this I used it here, and overall the trade ran for 6 RRs, and it was a great trade for the team. This was a full signal of TP, entry, and SL. Now, if you would like to access this and many other things, then make sure you check the first link in the description for the mentorship. We are currently running a 20% discount for a one-time fee over here, and this discount ends on July 31st, so make sure you do use it while it's here. Like I said, ends July 31st. Get access to all of the stuff here. If you want more information, check the first link in the description. But without further ado, let's get right into today's video. Okay everyone, so the method I'm going to be teaching you guys is called flip zones. You may already be familiar with this, but forget everything you've been taught already and just use this guide, as this guide is, in my opinion, the best guide. So don't worry about change of characters, don't worry about any of that other stuff, just focus on zones. And what I mean by that is your demand zones and your supply zones. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a 5-step process. The first thing is wait for price to tap into, your higher time frame zone, or wait for a sweep, because usually when you're looking for a confirmed entry or just a entry, it will usually be based off of a higher time frame POI. So maybe you're looking at a an overall supply zone, for example on the 1 hour. That might be for example your bias here for this trade, hence why you'd be looking for a confirmation and a confirmed entry on the lower time frame. Or perhaps you're looking at a sweep, so we can see here that price swept this previous high, and then you're expecting price to drop towards the downside, and now you're looking for a confirmation to go into shorts. So after you've seen whatever necessary higher time frame POI or whatever necessary sweep you've seen to give you a narrative and a bias to go in a particular direction, what you need to do after that is identify the supply or demand zone that you want to fail, that you want to see price fail, which will be an indication that your bias is correct. So in this example, to simplify it to this example, right? In this example, we have a supply zone and we have a sweep towards the upside. So we have this sweep and then towards the upside. So our bias, right? Let me just mark it up here. Our bias is downwards, right? We want price to go down now, and all we want to see is some sort of indication or confirmation to tell us that our bias is correct. In this case, we're not going to be looking at change of characters or any other of that stuff. We're looking at a demand zone. Why are we looking at demand zone, you may be wondering? Because if we're trying to go shorts, we'd be looking at supply zones. First things first is we want to get the confirmation. The confirmation comes from the demand, because the demand is the only thing that can ruin this trade. What do I mean by that? If we are trying to trade from this supply zone, or we are trying to go shorts in this market, and price is still reacting and respecting these demand zones over here in this example, we know that our bias is incorrect, because if demand is still being respected, then we know that there is a bullish sentiment in this market, and therefore we should not be shorting. However, once we see this demand zone fail and price pushes past it, we know that our bearish bias is going to be correct, because the bullish sentiment in this market has failed. Buyers are no longer in control, therefore the sellers are taking over, therefore supply is taking over, and therefore we have a confirmation for our trade. I've kind of explained all the steps here, so let's just go back to the steps. So step 1, we've identified the sweep and whatever. Step 2, identify the zone. So in this diagram and in this case, our demand zone that we're looking to fail is this demand zone right here. Usually you want to see this on the 5-minute or the 10-minute or maybe even the 15-minute. You want to see this kind of demand zone, and you know that you want to see this demand zone fail, right? Also as well, what you want to look out for is make sure it's a demand zone which is close to whatever you're trying to trade from. So if we're trying to trade from this supply zone here, make sure it's the first 5-minute or 10-minute or 15-minute demand zone which is closest to the zone. You don't want to be picking demand zones all the way off into the distance over here. You want to pick something that's actually relevant to where you're trading. But yeah, number 3, wait for price to fail the zone. Very simple step. All you need to do is wait for price to come down and fail this level. And then after that, we mark up the zone which caused the flip. So what I mean by the flip is, previously we may have been bullish. After we saw this demand zone failing, we can see there was a flip in the market, right? We flipped from demand to supply, and we need to mark up the zone which caused this. And in this case, that was this zone all the way up here. So we mark this up and then we enter from this zone. Using this 5-step process and now using the flip zone entry and using the failure of demand to enter, right, and this new confirmation, you don't need to worry about change of character. You don't need to worry about which low to enter from. You don't need to worry about your confirmations and all of that. All you need to know is, have we broken a demand zone or the opposite zone that we're trying to trade from, and do we have a flip zone which is valid? If you have those two things and you followed this 5-step process, then go for your entry, risk whatever you usually risk, and go for the trade. You know, don't be worried, don't be scared. This, in my opinion, is my preferred way of entering the market right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the real life chart example. We're going to break down how I actually took that GU trade using this particular confirmation and entry model. And so yeah guys, I'll see you in just a sec. Okay everyone, here I am on GBPUSD. I'm currently on the 10-minute time frame. I've got the 5 steps for this particular entry model and this entry guide and this confirmation written up all over here. And yeah, let's just go through it. So the first step was to find your bias. What exactly am I predicting and analyzing for the current market, and what do I think is going to happen, and what entry, yada yada. So at the moment, I saw we had a triple top over here, and this triple top got swept by this move over here. And I saw there was a trendline dynamic level of liquidity over here, which also got swept by this move. So what am I predicting? I'm predicting that price is going to drop and come into some sort of entry over here, this flip zone or something, and then drop off even more. So let's start confirming this bias. I'm going to choose for my SND, which I think is going to fail, which will act as a confirmation for this trade. And all I did is I switched down to the 5-minute because I couldn't really see much on the 10-minute time frame. I can't really see any valid zones, demand zones, which I want price to fail. So I just went down to the 5-minute time frame, and I can already see a zone over here which I want price to fail and to act as my confirmation for this trade. It's as simple as that. I'm not looking for any particular lows. I'm not looking for any this or that, or change of character, market structure shift, inversion, all of that, you know, whatever. So all I'm looking for is for price to fail this, failed this demand. This is what I'm looking for price to do. Another thing about why I chose this demand actually, which is important, is that I chose this demand because it's the most recent, most valid demand zone in relation to this area over here, which is where the bias was created, where the sweep is, right? And where my zone is, because my zone is this zone over here, right? So if I'm trading this zone, and let me just replay this here. If I'm trading this zone, I'm not going to be trying to get a confirmation from something down here, or something way back here, or something like that, or something all the way up in there. No, the confirmation is going to come from something that's relevant, something that's in close proximity to where I'm trading, and something which just makes logical sense, right? Why would I be looking for a confirmation here at this low, change of character here, if I'm trading all the way up here? So if you're confused about all of that change of character, market structure stuff, just use this flip zone technique. But yeah, I've identified the zone that I want to fail. I marked it up, and now all I need to do is wait for it to fail. There we go. It has now failed. So after it fails, we go back to the list, mark up the flip zone, and we can see the flip zone is here, right? We'll just name this flip zone, because this was the whole reason why I wanted to find this in the first place, right? So in this case, you might find the flip zone before you find the confirmation, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, now all we need to do is set our entry here. Right, there's no overcomplications when it comes to taking entries using this technique, guys. It's literally as simple as that. Let's put that in there, get that there, and then our TPs, well, let's see where the TPs will be. TPs will go right here at this level of fair value gap, and boom, it's as simple as that, right? Very, very simple. As you can see here, boom, TP. This is also part of the fifth step. You also have to hit TP on your trade. If you don't hit TP, you didn't follow the guide correctly. No, I'm joking. Anyways, so yeah, now just wait for price to tag you in. And there we go. And then watch it hit TP. Lovely stuff. So that is the exact thought process that I went to when I was sending this trade out to my team, and this was the exact analysis that I did, as well as the last two videos, which I did to take this entry and to find this confirmation and all of that stuff which I just presented to you. It's literally as simple as that. If you're worried about your confirmations or anything like that, hopefully this video cleared up for you and you're now well on your way to finding great trades like this. If you're interested in learning more about the techniques that I use to get good trades on a daily basis, and you're interested in learning more about the strategies that I use, make sure to check the first link in the description to join the mentorship, to join my course, and yeah, you'll gain all of the benefits that are listed over there. There's currently a discount for 20%, so make sure you make use of that while it's still on. It's ending on July 31st, which is in a couple of days, so make sure you use that. But yeah, guys, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.